Sundays have always been sacred to me. It gives me a chance to spend time with my family, with my friends, to focus on my faith. And honestly, We Rest on Sundays is a platform that I've created to help you navigate the complexities of the world. I want to spend time having open, honest dialogue with mentors, friends and family, and individuals that I truly believe are exceptional. We're going to focus on love, career, marriage, parenting, and everything in between. And the primary goal here is for us to become the better versions of ourselves every single day. I want to thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on Sunday. So today I'm going to be talking to you about really just like the Airbnb process and sharing the tips and tricks that I feel like have really worked for me during this journey. My wife and I bought a rental property a little bit over, I think this is now year 4, and we really, at that time period, were looking for different ways to diversify our portfolio. So we both have 401k accounts, we have, our kids' college tuition funds, our primary house, pension for me at work, and a few other things. And essentially, we were just in a season where we were like, hey, let's diversify, let's figure out what's going to be next for us. So we decided during that time period to look at either quadruplexes, so 4-unit smaller apartment buildings, and or triplexes, 3-unit smaller apartment buildings. And we were looking, and we found something down in Georgia, south side of Georgia, Noonan, Georgia, that we were honestly like this close to investing in and buying. We went to go see it with our realtor. We liked it. We felt like we'd be able to turn a profit with this property. It was a good opportunity for us to really get our feet wet in just a deeper, aspect of real estate. However, though, on the back end is that during that time period, I was having this internal feeling where I'm like, oh, should we pull the trigger on this? Should we pull the trigger on this? My sister in her previous marriage was just in a season where I'm like, I don't know what's going on there. And finally, we decided to have a conversation, my sister and I. And, she shared that she felt like during that time period of her marriage that they were going to go through a separation. And for me, statistics show 50% of marriages just don't succeed. They essentially fail. And I knew that separation, knowing my sister is like, we're 2 steps away from divorce in reality. So, I had a deeper conversation with her, asked her, what are you worried about, if anything? And like, how can I best serve and support you? And really the feedback was, she opened up, and hopefully she doesn't mind me sharing. It's just like, I'm just worried about the kids having to pivot into an apartment for a short season, as I go through the separation / divorce. And I personally took that to heart, and I was just like, we got to figure this out, on the back end. So rather than, investing in this triplex, I went back home, spoke with India, my wife, and I just was like, hey, I don't think that we need to buy this property. I think we need to buy a single family house. And she's just like, okay, well, tell me more. I was like, well, I think that kid is about to go through a divorce, and basically her fear is that she doesn't want the kids to be in an apartment. So I think we need to buy a house. And, without skipping a beat, my wife was just like, okay, buy a house, no problem. Reached out to my realtor, made the call, and was just like, hey, we need to pivot away from this. We need to step into really potentially just buying a single family house. Finding a property, my realtor called me one day in the office, and she's like, hey, I think I found your next property. Do you have time to come and see it at some point today? Drive over to the property, really, really enjoyed it. We're actually sitting in the property, or I'm sitting in the property. Well, you're here with me as well, virtually. But sitting in the property and loved it. I just was like, can I see my family here, right? That's the biggest deciding factor for me in buying a property is, can I see my own family here? And with that means, okay, great. For me, everything else checks out, then like, let's invest and see what it does. The market was really fair at that time period. It felt like it was going to be a good opportunity. It was 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. I then told my sister, I was like, hey, come and see this house with me. I don't think that she knew why, but she was like, okay. I was just like, we're thinking about getting an investment property. Would love for your thoughts. And she came and she was like, yeah, I like it. And essentially I asked her, was like, well, can you see yourself here? And she was just like, yeah, I can actually. So that really validated and like confirmed us closing this deal. So my wife and I closed the deal on this property. My sister pivoted in here, and navigated through her divorce, but her and her kids, I believe, lived like a super happy and peaceful life in this property for a couple of years until, she got remarried and, got back on her feet, met her partner who was excellent, and moved into their home, which left this home vacant at that time period. So it's really like a what's next moment, right? Like, what are you going to do at that point? And for me, I just was like, okay, well, we need to get another tenant in here because real estate is really my thing. I'm like, I think it is a strong foundational aspect of acquiring wealth in reality, and I'm passionate about it. I really love it. My favorite board game growing up was Monopoly, so I feel like it's a way to really play like Monopoly at a, clearly a more grand scale and with real money rather than play money. But, I felt like this was an aspect or an area of my family, my wife and kids, where it's like, I have to own this area a little bit more, which is fine. So worked with my realtor again, said, hey, I need to get this house listed. My sister's about to move out and I need to get another tenant in here. She partnered with me. We ended up finding a tenant. And honestly, I had a lot of reservations about this tenant up front. There are just some stories and like some questionable aspects of her background. I think that, however, though, is like, I am an empath by nature. So, especially when it comes to single mothers, I come from that environment. I know how hard it is, really just like navigating that life where it's like, it's just your mom, that's the only income provider, and, kids. So this woman was in that situation. I feel like I had a big heart and, wanted to give her an opportunity. So I did. She moved in. She was great probably the first 4 or 5 months until she wasn't, right? And that's typically how it happens. And, rent was late. I don't think rent was ever on time other than like the first month, which is fine. Again, like she would pay late fees, and or not. But then the last 3 months, like she would just ghost me entirely. And, obviously when your tenant doesn't pay rent, somebody is liable and still has to pay the mortgage. And that was me. So paying the mortgage, that was us, my wife and I, paying the mortgage. But during that same time, it's like you have to kind of go back to your spouse with your tail tucked behind your legs where you're like, hey, so we're kind of in the situation where we're paying 2 mortgages, the tenant isn't paying, but I got it, I'm going to work through it all. Long story short, ended up having to go through the eviction process, which is a whole nother nightmare. Ended up getting her to move out. We worked through all of that. And that took place in May of this year. And, from there I was like, I really want to try my hand at Airbnb. I had some friends that had been pretty successful on Airbnb. They were motivating me, like, hey, your property is probably primed and ready for Airbnb. You should really, really consider it. So I started doing research, got out on YouTube, got out and joined a few Facebook groups that were dedicated towards like Airbnb and short-term rentals. Watched as many clips as possible. I asked a lot of mentors, asked peers, really just tried to learn as much as possible what makes an Airbnb successful. And at that point, like, prayed to God as well, because I started getting signs where like friends were like, hey, like I'm getting rid of this sectional, anybody interested, it's free. And I'm like, okay. All right, God, if you're going to continue to show me signs like this, great, then I'm going to go in that direction and really just put a shot up, at Airbnb. One thing is that, like, at first I was going down the decor route, meaning I was going to pay somebody to, come in and, like, create a design. But honestly, the cheapest quote that I got for somebody to literally put a document together of decor, and this didn't even go towards the cost of, like, any pieces or furniture in the property, was like $8,000. I'm like, okay, that's not even an option for me. I think I can get on Pinterest and develop something that will be, aesthetically pleasing, comfortable, cozy, warm, all the things that I want in an Airbnb when I decide to rent one. And I did. So for those of you that are even considering creating your own, you can do it yourself, I assure you. get out on Pinterest, start creating your own vision board. And all I did was opened up a Word document and I listed room by room, and maybe I'll share it on this as well, but I listed room by room, bedroom 1, bedroom 2, bedroom 3, bedroom 4, bathroom 1, master bathroom, half bathroom, living room 1, living room 2. And from there, I got on Pinterest, figured out the color schemes that I wanted to go with, and then started pulling pieces together. I had pictures of already the furniture that I was getting from my sister's storage unit, her husband's storage unit, friends' storage units, and I would literally place those pictures in each one of those rooms to create my own visual board. And from there, the small elements like, duvet sets, pillows, throw pillows, accent pillows. I said throw pillows, I meant throw blankets on beds, etc. Wayfair is your best friend in reality. If you are on a budget when it comes to needing to buy pieces, small little coffee tables, whatever it may be for your property, I promise you, get out on Wayfair, get on Pinterest. You can find everything that you need at a very, very reasonable price. And that's what I did, and started putting everything together. I keep a handyman crew that was able to move all the tenants' old stuff that was raining in here out of the property, and then move the new stuff from a plethora of different U-Hauls, and then also the stuff that got delivered into this property, and then it just started to come to life. I gave myself 3 weeks from tenant stuff out of the house to going live with Airbnb and seeing what I could do. So all of her stuff was officially out May, by the end of the first week of May. And I went gangbuster. Had the design done. I literally started buying stuff, had stuff moved in here, had fixed whatever it is that we needed to get fixed here, had the property listed by, I think it was the last week of May. Had my first tenant my first guest, not tenant, the first week of June. And honestly, since then, we've been in the green from month 1. And I think what has allowed us to be in the green since June or month 1 of launching our Airbnb is not only did I make sure to create this house and this aesthetic to look as appealing as possible, I didn't take pictures of myself. I didn't use just the old grandma furniture. It's nice pieces that came together cohesively. And then I did pay a professional photographer to come in here and take high quality images of the property, get them polished up for me to post. I took my time bringing the visual together of the overall, project. You have to see your Airbnb in this process as a brand and as a business, not just, oh, let me get this thing posted, I need to make money, I need to get the mortgage paid. It's no. People eat with their eyes today, especially when it comes to places that they're going to rent, hotels that they're going to stay, resorts, you name it. So I knew that I needed to have high quality photos with really, really beautiful, furniture that looks comfortable and cozy and warm, something that I like, something that my wife likes, something that my family likes. And once I had that and, had it vetted by a few people, had the professional pictures posted, spent time to do a quick write-up, and in reality, ChatGPT is your friend when it comes to the write-up, because you want something, you can literally upload all of the pictures to ChatGPT, ask them to create literally a welcome guide for you, which it will do, and then from there, you can utilize that, and that becomes your write-up for your Airbnb. You want something charming, you want something catchy, you want something that really will, I think, just captivate your audience. You have one shot. There are thousands, probably tens of thousands of properties in Metro Atlanta that are listed on Airbnb, right? What's going to make yours stand out? I think on your landing page, you have maybe 6 to 8 primary photos that you can have listed in there. So when somebody clicks your property, they're going to see a real quick blurb of your main picture and then maybe 6 small little pictures, and you have to captivate them with those pictures. I'm telling you, you have to captivate them with those pictures. If you do not get them with those pictures, you will never get them. They're going to be gone, your property's not going to be great, and you want to hit the ground running. And I think that because of the quality of my photos is so high and the house is, again, nice enough for guests to want to be interested in staying, and the write-up is really, really good. It gives you full details. I don't cut corners when it comes to my offerings, right? I work at Chick-fil-A headquarters, so serving the community, serving customers is really That is the secret sauce of Chick-fil-A in reality. I have taken the Chick-fil-A model and I've implemented that into my Airbnb. So I have some friends who are like, "Oh, I don't offer snacks. I don't," and I'm like, shame on you, right? It's an experience from when you first pull up to this property all through the rest of your stay. Offer snacks. It's very simple. I had that welcome guide printed at FedEx Kinko's and laminated. It is beautiful. It's on a nice little welcome tray. Excuse me, I'll take a picture of it. With snacks that I offer, and the snacks aren't crazy. It's like 2 little bags of chips, 2 little bags of trail mix, 2 little chocolates, 2 little electrolyte pouches. That's it, right? But it makes the guest feel like, oh, this is great. I can put something on my stomach. If you stay at resorts like the St. Regis, right? St. Regis gives you 2 little chocolates, when you check in, and then every single time they come in and touch your room, right? So whether that's turn down service at night, there are 2 little chocolates on both nightstands of the bed, a dark chocolate and a white chocolate. You go out for the day, they come in and literally make up your bed and clean your room, 2 little chocolates. Those chocolates aren't make or break, but the chocolate as the guest makes me feel exceptional. Also during turn down service at the St. Regis, what they do when you go out and you might be in the city all day, you come back to that room, there's a nice little white foot towel laid on the side of the bed with 2 little white slippers on both sides of the bed. So when you wake up in the morning, you can slide your little feet or big feet into those slippers and they're warm. It is the second mile service that these companies are providing to you that make you feel welcomed as a guest, that make you want to come back, that make you ecstatic about this opportunity. So I'm constantly thinking about what is my second mile service that I can offer within this business, my Airbnb. That's the snack tray. That's the welcome binder that I've created as well. I make sure I don't round corners when it comes to the towels that I offer. If you have 7 guests, I'm probably going to have 9, 10 sets of towels out, and it's all good. Don't worry about it. I'm going to make sure that there's a few laundry pods. If you need to wash clothes while you're here, it's all good. Wash your clothes, handle it. I make sure that the smoker that's in the back has pellets that are filled within the smoker, so you don't have to go out and go buy and shop and buy your own. I provide travel size, because I got burned there, but I provide travel size soap, shampoo, conditioner in each one of the showers in this bathroom as well. And where I got burned is I bought one time the large native, put it in there expecting guests to treat me well or treat others how you would like to be treated. And however, is like my very first day that I had, somebody took the entire brand new, native soap, and I was like, okay, you learn from it, right? Like I didn't write them up or go after them for the $12 to that cost, right? I just was like learning a lesson. So you are going to knock your head and learn and have to learn during this process as well. So that scaled me down to the travel sizes. If you take that, it's all good. You needed the soap more than me. I have 32 other, soap dispensers in the owner's closet. A next, key thing I think for really like making your Airbnb successful and profitable is your cleaning fee. Cleaning fee, I think since COVID, you said it right at Airbnb, but you have to be realistic of like, what is your consumer, your customer going to be willing to pay? And what that looks like is like, what are you willing to pay? Do you have a cleaning service at your own home? Great. What are you paying currently and what are you willing to pay as a traveler? I set mine personally at $200 sometimes, and it really just depends. But the however though is, I worked out a deal where I've created a new opportunity really for my mom. And I said, hey, what are your thought processes on like you coming and turning over this Airbnb, right? Like, and we'll figure out what's going to be fair. Typically I pay her $100 per clean because the house, there are people that are churning and coming in, and it's not crazy. And I asked her, I was like, be true, right? Like tell me like when the house is more of a mess, it can be a higher rate. And she's very consistent, very fair, very honest with like the state of the house. And that's how we make the adjustment on the back end. Your cleaning fee can really make or break your profitability in this space. If your property is turning over, you allow 2-day stays, and your property is turning over, 4 or 5 times in a month. We'll go ahead and say 5 times within a month, and you're paying a $200 cleaning fee every time. That's $1,000 of your profits already gone out of the window. So that's one area where you're going to want to make sure that you have a consistent cleaner if you're not going to do it yourself. And sometimes it's going to be hard for you to do it yourself, because if you have a corporate job and you have one person checking out on the 3rd and another person checking in on the 3rd, you got a checkout that's 11:30, and then you have a check-in that's supposed to be at 3. You have a 4-hour window of time where you can get in there and really clean it. And what happens if the house is a mess and you got to wash all the bedding? You need to make sure all the sheets are changed. You need to make sure that the snacks, all the things you need to do that go into it, right? Which brings me into another point. Is like, have multiple sets of bedding, right? Because again, you might have 8 guests in your home at one time, which means all the bedding needs to be turned over really quickly. So rather than feel like you can just wash it right now and like quickly get it dried and get it, you're not going to be able to do that if you have a guest check in and check out on the same day. Therefore, if you just have ample extra sheets and bedding in your owner's closet, go ahead and change that bedding. Know that you can wash those sheets and change, hand and dry the sheets down the road. You'll be totally fine. Again, I'll keep mentioning, make this like a business, but also make it like an efficient business, right? And what I mean by that is you have to work, not harder. You have to work smarter, not harder. I got put on, and shout out to Dave Leaks, who's a friend of mine, mentor of mine. He probably get annoyed if I say mentor, but the truth of the matter is, like, I really got hip to Airbnb. I recorded, an interview in one of Dave Leaks' rental properties, it was beautiful. And he's like, yeah, man, like, this has been a game changer for me. And, his cleaner was in there cleaning at the time period, and my mind just started clicking. I'm like, oh, I need to be doing this with my rental property. I sent him, a listing of the property. He was like, yeah, man, like, you need to go ahead and pursue this. So Dave, I appreciate you putting the battery in my back, pursuing this, man, because it's been great. But Dave also put me on to Logify, which is a smart property management software. It's $7 a month, $9 a month if you want to use their algorithm, which gives you smart pricing. All that means is when you go into Airbnb without having a smart property software management system, you set your daily rates in Airbnb, right? And that's cool. It's in the easiest way is like, if you just have like a $200 nightly rate every single day of the month, like, okay. But you're also like, well, what happens when Beyonce comes in town, right? What happens if Garth Brooks comes in town? What happens if F1 is here? What happens if FIFA World Cup is here? Are you still going to want to have your property listed at $200 a night? I highly doubt it. You're going to want to take advantage of that premium rate that you can offer for people that are coming in with friends and family, and they're coming here for an experience and to really just see Atlanta, go to that concert, whatever it may be. And I'm not saying price gouge everybody, but what I'm saying is like, take advantage and set that nightly rate to something that is uberly competitive and fair, right? Market value. You can look at Airbnb, see the surrounding properties, see what their current nightly rates are, what they're listed at, and then make a decision. Or you can utilize smart systems like Logify to do it for you. And all that they're doing, my understanding is like they have something within their system, their smart system understands what's coming to Atlanta, what's in Atlanta, by what weekend, etc. And it's automatically adjusting those nightly rates for you, which is great because it helps you understand, okay, great, this is what I should be paying right now or what I can offer for my property right now. And it's just better. It is significantly better. I pay that $9. It's damn near the best $9 that I spend every single month. I don't even think about it. I log into that Logify platform. They have a really clean app aesthetically. You see what the nightly rates are. You see your booking. You see what you're going to acquire after all the Airbnb fees and expenses are taken out of. It does the work for you. So I'm telling you, one of the primary things that it also does for you, get smart locks on your home as well. You're not going to want to come here and meet your guests every single time that they check in. Therefore, have smart locks. Get the smart locks with the digital input on it, keypad on it, so you can set it and forget it. And what that means is Logify also updates those smart locks for you, the codes. So you don't have to worry about changing that code every single time a guest checks in / checks out and worried about the guest coming in here past when they're supposed to be here. Logify will handle that for you. It's going to automatically send an email to that customer, going to automatically update those smart lock codes every single time as long as your smart lock is connected to Wi-Fi. It's going to give them communication. It's going to give them checkout instructions. Literally does majority of the work for you, and it puts your life on cruise control when you are navigating this space. You must, let me not say must, you should, if you want to live a better life and an easier life, have a smart software like Logify, and there are plenty out there. It doesn't have to be that one. Next, reviews. This is really like the make or break of your overall Airbnb and its success coming out the gate. So you want to hit the ground running, in my humble opinion. And what that means is think about the overall experience of your Airbnb. What is it? When people pull up to your house aesthetically, is the lawn cut? When they walk into the house, does it smell nice, right? Like, do the small things. Get an aromatherapy mister in this property. Make it happen. People want an experience. When you walk in, again, to St. Regis, to the Ritz, it's an experience. It smells good everywhere in that hotel. Make your house like that, the property that you have. Make sure that the guests feel great and happy that they decided to rent your property and not stay at the Ritz because you have more space, because it's cheaper, because it's a better value for their dollar, right? All of those things. So you have to think about it from the customer's lens every single time when you're coming into your property. Is your lawn cut? Have a lawn person. Pay my lawn person $50 to mow and handle yard maintenance and what we do in Grant. I live in Georgia every 2 weeks, and it's great. They get it done. It looks aesthetically pleasing. I have $50, $60 aromatherapy diffuser that's on set and forget automatically goes. It smells very pleasant in here. I told you about the cleaner that we have in here. I told you about the welcome, kit that I create in the welcome binder as well. So it is an experience when you come into here. I have fiber internet for guests that stay here. They have access to the washer and dryer, access to the smoker that's in the backyard. They have access to the trampoline. They have access to essentially everything other than the owner's closet, which they shouldn't need access to that because everything else is literally listed and shared within the house. So I'm thinking about the experience because I care about the reviews. I'll show a picture of this, but on the fridge, I have literally a guide of 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star, and what it means. And it's a reminder every time somebody goes into our fridge of we're aiming for the 5-star review. That's what we want. When the guest emails us and they're like, hey, God, the house is beautiful. It's even better than what the pictures are. Awesome. Thank you so much for your feedback. Please remember that our aim and our goal is to please, and we're looking for a 5-star review. I don't shy away from legitimately asking for it, seeking it from my customers, right? Because that's what you need. The system sees, the smart system Airbnb sees 5 stars, and they start bumping you up. I think after my 7th 5-star in a row, they put me as a guest favorite on their platform. That guest favorite made my little dot on the Airbnb map a little bit bigger. It made me more relevant and easier to find when you search for properties in Atlanta. I think I get one more 5-star review, and once they go through their rating system, I think it's every 60 or 90 days, Airbnb decides who is going to be rated, not just as guest favorite, but it's their super host. Sorry. So I think I have one more, rating of a 5-star, and I'll be seen as a super host, which makes, again, my visibility even more significant on the platform. It makes guests even more intrigued and more excited to understand these pictures aren't just pictures. It's really an experience that I'm going to sign up for and that I'm going to be able to have with my family. And that's the goal. That's what makes you more attractive. That's what keeps you booked out more and more. That's what makes you really just more successful within this Airbnb business model. Also, if a guest is disgruntled, solve the problem. Be responsive, right? Treat this as I would like for you to treat your career, I guess. If something is wrong, something's going to happen. You're going to have a water issue. You're going to have the lawn people come at 6 in the morning rather than on a day when they're supposed to be gone and checked out. Apologize. Make it right on the back end. If it's nothing that's too egregious, right? Just a simple apology goes a very, very long way. If it's something that's bigger, where, I don't know, your AC goes out, ask them what feels fair to you. And maybe that's a discount on their entire stay. Maybe that's one night for free. But treat it like a business. You are the Ritz. You are St. Regis. Make it right on the back end. Don't haggle. Don't negotiate. Don't get yourself caught in going back and forth with the customer. That's when those 1 stars, 2 stars, 3 stars will come in. There's no need for that. That will hurt your ratings overall, and that's going to hurt more and more customers coming back to really just stay with you. So be mindful of that. Don't argue. Don't go back and forth. The last thing I'll leave you with is just have fun with it. You know, at the end of the day, granted, I've only been doing this now 3 months, but we have been in the green every single month since launching. We are officially going to be in the green for the next 3 months as well, based on guests that have already booked this property. So within my first 6 months of launching and pushing forward with Airbnb, I've been able to be successful within this platform with making sure that we're able to be profitable, which means pay the mortgage and the utilities, and then be in the green a little bit for just additional income, which is great, because at the end of the day, rather than us baking in property taxes into our mortgage that increase year over year, we strike a check to property taxes. How wonderful will it be at the next maybe February, March, for me to be able to just strike the check to our taxes, and we'll be good to go. So for me, have fun with this like anything else, right? Like, if it's going to be a drag for you, a bore or exhausting, don't get into it. Don't step into it, because you are going to be in the people business. You are going to be running your own business, and you are going to be in the service business, and it's either for you or it is not for you. You can pay, a third-party company to handle and manage all this for you, but I personally believe starting out, nobody's going to take care of your property better than you, the owner. Therefore, lean in, step in, put up a shot, see what you can do, and see how successful you can be. I think it's fascinating. If you have questions, you can reach out to me directly. I don't know it all. I'm not a masterist. I'm still very much a student, being a sponge, asking questions. But I'm tenacious. I'm hungry. I'm having fun with this, and I do think that it's a really, really good opportunity to continue to cultivate, gain, and acquire generational wealth for me and my family. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it's value add to you guys. I appreciate you, per usual, just tuning in and really just giving me your time for this platform. Thank you.